Hey, my loves. Welcome to Valerie's Craft Corner. Today's session, we're going to be making journals. This is going to be the first of two sessions. Today, I'll be showing you how to make the very easy and simple way to make a journal, and then there'll be a longer session showing you how to make a more elaborate journal with binding. This craft is inspired by Laura, who gifted me a very lovely journal, and we will be utilizing some of the same principles but a different binding technique. So shout out to Laura. So in order to do our craft today, you're going to need paper, all different kinds of paper, and you're going to need paper with two different textures. So you need the inside paper, like computer paper or construction paper or any kind of paper that anybody would want to write on, scribble on, draw on. That's the kind of paper you need for inside. And then you need a tougher or a thicker paper to be the cover. I'll talk more about how many options you have in terms of the cover in a little bit. So, to do this, you need to gather paper, stapler, glue, any decorative notions that you have lying about, and scissors, pretty much. All right, so I'm going to show you first two different ways to marry the interior pages together. All right, so the first way, I'm going to use computer paper. You grab your computer paper and you're going to fold it in half from top to bottom. And when you do that, you want to first match one corner, then match the other corner, bring your finger down in the center, go to one side, and then in the center, go to the other. This will give you a very even fold of the paper. Sometimes when you put your finger down and go all the way one way, it gets a little wonky. So remember, fold from the center to one side, from the center to the other side. Do this a bunch. So each side makes two. You want as many pages as you like. I've already pre-folded some. When you have enough pages, and it can't be too many, unfortunately, because the first technique I'm going to show you uses a stapler. And a staple only goes through so many sheets. In fact, I may have already exhausted the stapler thickness, but we shall see. So, now I have all my folded papers folded along the middle. I'm going to grab a piece of cardboard and I'm going to staple these pages together. I'm going to use my big stapler, open it up wider, and then I'm going to take my stapler and try to really marry it, like try right over the middle line. And then press. Now, it's going to go through the cardboard, and that's okay because it's going to go straight through the cardboard, and we just have to pull it off like that. I got it pretty good dead center in the crease. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it 3 times. So once up top, once in the center, once in the bottom. Then you line it up, check it, see how good it is, and then move on to the third one, pull it up off the cardboard. Now I'm going to flip it over. So you could have put the staples in going toward the center, so that this was the flat edge and the pokey part is in the center here. I just chose to do it this way. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my finger, but you can take like a pencil or any edge that you can to push down the metal stapler ends. You can use like a butter knife, or anything that's going to put pressure on the metal. And when you're done, you have a basic booklet. Okay, we just are minus a cover. I'm going to show, before I show you how to do a cover for that, I'm going to repeat this process again, showing you a different way to bind your papers together without using staples. So, we have our folded sheets, right, that we just stuck one inside the other, just making sure they're all, okay? So those are my insides. I'm going to do one more, again, showing you how to fold. I'm going to match up these two corners, then match up these two corners, and when I think I have it, I'm going to pull it down in the center and then ride along to one side, again from the center, ride along to the other. Now, I'm going to bunch all my papers up, and I'm going to leave one paper aside. This paper, I'm going to grab my scissors, and I'm going to make a cut along the seam that does not completely go from one side to the other. I'm going to start like maybe a third of the way up and cut a very thin, like almost like a scientific sliver. And I'm going to go till about a third of the way. I have just cut a hole in my paper. Okay? Just going to set that down. Now, the pages that I'd already put together that were folded, I am going to cut along the seam. Now, I'm only going to cut a third of the way to sort of go along with the cut that I made in there, in the first piece. So I find the seam, and then, just trying to see it, okay. And then I'm going to cut about a third of the way up. If you're uncomfortable doing all of them together, you can do one sheet at a time, 2 sheets, whatever is your comfort level. And on this side, I'm going to cut. So you end up with multiple sheets of paper with cuts on either side, but still have the chunk in the middle. And now you have your holy piece. You're then going to take, I'm going to do 2 sheets at a time. You could do 1 sheet, you could do 3 sheets. You're going to take your sheets. This is going to look awkward, and that's okay. And roll them like a tube. Now, the first piece is torn, right? Because we just cut that. So it may feel hard to gather them together, but you're just going to roll them up like a pencil. And however you roll it, it has to be smaller than this hole. Because what we're then going to do is take our paper, roll, and when we get to where the split is, we're going to unroll it. And it fits in the pages. Okay? Now, I'm going to keep doing that. So you want to make sure you keep an eye on which sheet has the hole. you're going to do the rest of these together. You're going to roll right out of your way. So here are my sheets that have been folded so that the seam is together, and they've been cut on the top and on the bottom, but not in the center. And I'm going to just roll. There you go. And you're going to hold the tab in, and then you're going to find your hole. See that little hole? You're going to put it in there, and when you get to where you cut the paper, you're going to allow the paper to uncurl. And just like that, get everything lined up. And just like that, you have your booklet. Your pages are all intertwined. So, you have your stapler booklet, and you have your stapleless booklet. Pretty same. Now we're going to cover both of them. So, you need a tougher piece of paper than that. You could even do fabric, but if you did fabric, I would encourage you to do it to glue paper to it as well to make the fabric as strong as it could be. So I said I was going to show you or tell you something that you could use that will make even putting a cover on super easy. File folders. Some of them are glossy, some of them have a finish to them, some of them are completely matte. I chose one that was completely matte, but you can do what you need to do for you. I covered this journal in the file folder, and I used the cut seam process for this one. I used the staple process, as you can see, for this one. So if you use a file folder, all you have to do is cut out the shape that you want. And some file folders have pockets, and if they have a pocket, then they're going to be doubled in some areas and not in others. You just want to make sure you're using consistent thickness. So if it has a seam here, you want to open the seam and then cut off the excess so that it's not wonky. I am going to use, to cover one of mine, I'm going to use, and you can see here, even as you put the cover on, you can begin to start to get decorative. So you can use different shapes, different colors, contrasting paper. Again, you could use a cereal box, or in this case, it's a cracker box. To seal it, you would just cover this, paint this, or use this side to decorate this. Let's see, I am going to use oak tag. Here I have a cover of a sketch pad that I cut in half. And I can just cut that off and then cover this with some pretty paper, and that can be a cover. So I have some oak tag that I haven't used. Shocker. And this is the season of use everything up before you buy anything else. Let's see, will this fit? I think it will be a little small, but we're gonna go with it. And so to put it in half, whatever is your cover paper, you want to have two sides of it because you want the pages to go into that seam. And I know it's white now. It almost fits. The pages are a little bit bigger and we can cut off the excess, but I think it will work well for my purposes. Now I'm going to cover this. So I'm going to choose my paper. I'm going to use some scrap booking paper, and I'm going to, I know my book is a little bit shorter than my pages, so I'm going to Let's see if the side matches up. I'm going to make my thing longer by, it's a little short too. That might not be the best paper. Well, we're just going to do it because we've given it a start. So I'm going to make a little tiny little fold here in my paper just to put this in so it doesn't move. And then you always want your cover to be a little bit bigger all around than your pages, because then, sorry, somebody's calling me, because then everything will be protected. So I'm going to use some glue, and I'm just going to glue this piece in here. So I'm going to make sure I get to the edges. And I'm not going to take it all the way to that lip. I want the edge to be, I'm trying to increase the size of it, so I'm going to move in a little. And then once I have it placed, then I will lay that down. I'm just going to put a little glue on the lip part we made. And you can't see it. I am just pressing. Now you can turn it over and you can rub it out. I'm sure somebody's saying that's what she said, and good on you. Okay, that's the front side of my cover. This is the back side of my cover. You can see, because I wanted to make it longer, we ran out of that one. Now I think I have another sheet of that very same paper and could use that, but I think I'm gonna use this paper and have like a little bit like of a visual contrast. Okay, so that I haven't decided which way is going to be the front or the back yet. This very well may be the front. I don't know. But I'm going to cut it because I noticed that the stripes are not aligned on this side. I'm just going to cut it down one of the stripes using that stripe as a ruler. And essentially, you get the idea. Again, I am going to make a lip. And then I'm going to that almost covers the back. I want to make, okay, because I only want to make a little bit of a visual with this, not. And then I'm going to take my glue and put it on this side. Again, making sure that I go to the corners. And then I'm going to lay this down. And you see that extra bit of glue area that's left, that's going to be taken up by this green paper. So again, I want to make sure that my green and my red paper match up. And then I will press down, and then add more glue for the tab part. I'm just going to press that down for a second till the glue activates. And so now, and then I have the excess that I'm going to glue. And I'm going to hold that down. And now I have my inside cover. And I can easily glue the last piece of paper to this side and the first piece of paper to this side. Or you can also staple it again. Since this is a little wet still from the glue, I'm not gonna put it through the trauma and stress of stapling. But again, another way you can make your cover is using, are we gonna do a file folder or a cereal box? I think we'll do a cereal box. So, if it's the right size, it may not be. There's some kind of sporting event, and so my neighbors are having a good time with their celebratory. That's actually not a great shape because there's way too much of it. So we are going to use the file folder. Make it quick and dirty. Well, dirty and quick. So I'm going to take my scissors and cut off all this excess. I think this might, I'm not even sure if this is going to be big enough. Let's see. I think I will use my construction paper because that gives me a little bit of grace. I have purple. I have cardstock. I need another piece of construction paper. Ooh. This one's cut already, or has cuts in it. No, that's also cardstock. So sorry, I have so much paper and so little time. Okay, I'm gonna use purple and green. So basically I take my pages. Remember, this is the one that we used without the stapler. And I fit it to my paper just to see where we are. And see, the construction paper covers it pretty well from tip to tip. So I'm gonna fold my construction paper, match one corner, then match the other, pull it down in the center, move to one side, go back to the center, move to the other. Gonna also do it with my green. Because although construction paper is great, it's not super strong compared to like cardstock or something like that. So we will reinforce by putting two pieces together. Actually, I have a piece of cardstock that's got a weird shape cut out of it that I actually might glue to my journal to use the weird shape. It's green, so I'm still in my same color family. Yeah, that's what I think I will do. So I'm gonna fold. And again, you can be as creative as it is in you to be. Okay. I think this is the way I want it. I'm going to glue one to the other. And on the back side, now I have this little tab, and I'm just gonna put some glue on it. And then fold it over, and I'll wipe up the excess. I have a little tab over here that I don't want to tear off. So, where are my other papers? Here we go. Again, you see that the pages fit in here very well. You have two choices. You can glue the first page and the last page to the construction paper, or you can put a staple in it, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get my cardboard that I use to staple on so it doesn't go through things, like a table. And I line up in the middle. And then I'm going to use some kind, either my fingers or let's see if I can use the scissors. I don't want to encourage you to do something where you'll cut yourself. But you're going to push down on those metal stapler bits. This one's a little wonky, but we're good, I think. Okay, so now you decorate. I have, let's see, I have these stickers that are these labels. And I'm going to write Val's. Val's journal. You can get really detailed in your decoration. You can use postcards or other images, like for this one. Let me see, maybe this one. Actually, maybe this one. But you can use other images to embellish. You can use ribbon. You could use glue. So, today we learned 2 different ways to bind our, I guess it's not binding, but to affix our inside papers to our covers. And we've learned a few ways to make our covers so that we can have these cute little journals. And these are like you give to somebody to keep in their bag. This would be for a person who loves to make lists, right? Who's old school about it. You can give them 3 of these. You could have one where they could put their picture on it or whatever. They could write notes for recipes or anything like that. It's a really cute little stocking stuffer type of thing. So make sure to come back for the longer session where I'll be showing you how to bind journals. See you soon.